So we've done prediction videos in the past, but this video is going to be completely different. We're going to go through every single team in baseball and give them one bold prediction for the 2024 season. And to me, a bold prediction could have been you thought that Ichiro was going to win 2001 MVP during the steroid era when no one thought that he could win. Or even a recent example, if you thought that the Diamondbacks were going to go on a World Series run in 2023, no one was thinking that before the season. So we're going to try and find an Ichiro or a Diamondbacks for 2024. We're going to give a bold prediction for every single team. I'm actually pretty confident in this first prediction. The Orioles are going to break the all-time record for most doubles in a single season. This was set by the 2008 Rangers. They had 376. Me personally, the 2024 Orioles, they might break 380. Cedric Mullins is back and healthy. They have Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. They have a lot of guys in that starting lineup already that are extra base machines. Then you factor in Jackson Holliday, Kobe Mayo might get a call up. You have Colton Cowser and Cal Stowers. So many young guys are coming up in that system that if anyone gets hurt, they have guys to fill in, and they're extra base machines as well. This is one of my more bold predictions of any team because the Red Sox rotation is not very good on paper, but I think that they might have a top 10 team ERA. Now, obviously, a lot of things have to go right because they've lost Lucas Giolito, they traded Chris Sale, but when you have a rotation of Brian Bayo, Nick Pivetta, Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck, and Garrett Whitlock, these guys have high ceilings. It's just sometimes guys like Tanner Houck, they have a tough time going 5 or 6 innings because when a lineup comes around 3 times, usually the third time around, a pitcher is not going to be as nasty because the hitters are now used to it. But if they can get through 6 or 7 innings more consistently, they're actually pretty good. They have some high ceilings, especially Cutter Crawford. Watch out for that guy in 2024. I don't know how the math is going to work out, but Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are going to combine for 100 home runs in 2024. My honest prediction is that Juan Soto is going to have 45, and Aaron Judge, I know that he's dealing with some side issues right now with an oblique. He's got that toe thing, but for me, Juan Soto, he's going to have 45, and Aaron Judge, he's going to pop off for 55, and both Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are going to combine for 100 home runs. Maybe they'll win co-MVP. I have no idea. Speaking of winning awards, Curtis Mead has a chance of stealing the AL Rookie of the Year from other guys like Jackson Holliday. Curtis Mead has only played in 85 total AAA games, but in those 85 games, he's got 29 doubles, 13 home runs, and an almost 390 on base percentage. He also changed his stance towards the end of last year after he got called up. He could shock a lot of people, and the Rays, they're going to need a surprise rookie like Curtis Mead, and that's what the Rays do. They find talent from within, they find talent on other teams. Curtis Mead, he's going to pop off. Ooh, here's a fun one. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to have 5 pitchers with 10+ Ws and a sub-4 ERA. That would be the second most since integration. You have Chris Bassett, Alek Manoah, Kevin Gausman, Yusei Kikuchi, Jose Barrios. Now, obviously, the biggest question mark out of those 5 guys is going to be Alek Manoah. Kikuchi, he's questionable as well. Barrios, at least he bounced back in 2023. But for me, Manoah is going to be the key to success if the Blue Jays are going to make a deep playoff run. And because they're so good and they're so talented, they could all have 10+ Ws and a sub-4 ERA. A bold prediction for the Braves. Well, we talked about Chris Sale's team earlier. Let's talk about Chris Sale one more time. He just might win NL Cy Young. Some people are acting like Chris Sale is completely washed up, and a lot of people are having that same sort of sentiment about Mike Trout because Mike Trout and Chris Sale, they've been very much injury prone over the last few years, so we haven't seen them at their peak, and they're not young, spry chickens anymore. They're on the older side of things. When I see the name Chris Sale on paper, I just know that guy is special. That guy is on pace to make the Hall of Fame if he can keep it up for a few more years, and he's never won a Cy Young. I almost have a hard time believing that, but that's true. He's never won. 2024 might be the year that changes. Oh, now we're getting very bold, but this is in the realm of possibility. If you don't think that Jazz Chisholm Jr. can go 40-40, you're not really paying attention. I know he's missed some time over the last 2 seasons, but over his last 157 games, so not even a full season, Jazz Chisholm has 33 home runs and 34 stolen bases. That is some elite power speed production, and he is one of the few guys in baseball that might have a chance at that 40-40 club. And take it with the grain of salt, but he looks very, very good in spring. He is raking. He's ready to go for a huge year. The only question with Jazz Chisholm Jr., is he going to play 150 games? I don't know. The New York Mets, what's my bold prediction for them? I can't believe I'm saying this, but also it seems kind of plausible. They might make the playoffs. When you can go Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Starlin Marte, who's finally healthy, Jeff McNeil, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Vientos, and Bader, Jose Quintana, he's finally back and healthy, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, he added that sweeper, and he was really good once he added that pitch, Adrian Hauser, Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill is looking impressive in spring. They have some pieces. do not count out the Mets. They could surprise people. Also, Edwin Diaz Sugar is back with the trumpets playing. Maybe that galvanizes the troops. It could happen. The 2024 Phillies will tie an MLB record with 5 Team Gold Gloves. I think that JT Realmuto is going to win. Bryce Harper is going to win at first base. I know Christian Walker fans are probably punching the screen right now. Bryson, stop, my friend. Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas. The only question mark I have for Brandon Marsh is playing time. If he can get enough playing time, he has a solid chance at winning. And Johan Rojas, he is one of the most skillful outfielders I've ever seen on the defensive side of things. He can go get anything. He's quick and he's got a cannon for an arm. And yeah, Bryce Harper is that good defensively at first base. Put some respect on his name. So I was teetering back and forth with the Nationals. Was I going to go with a bounce back season from my friend Joey Gallo, or was I going to go the more safe route? And I chose the safe route. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, they're both going to strike out 200 or more hitters. Now they both share the same weaknesses. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, they're going to walk a lot of hitters, but if they can improve that command even by 2 or 3% and start missing bats as opposed to missing the zone, Gray and Gore is honestly going to be one of the more underrated duos in any rotation in all of baseball. I'm looking at this next prediction, and it might not be as bold as I'm making it out to be, but the White Sox are going to be the worst team in baseball. Now, I want to be fair to myself. I made this before the White Sox traded away Dylan Cease. With Dylan Cease, they were going to be a bottom feeder. They were not going to shock the world. I don't feel like they have a surprise season in them. But without Dylan Cease, yeah, they're absolutely awful. So maybe it's not very bold for me to say they're the worst team. Maybe Luis Robert goes 40-40. I don't know. So my next prediction is kind of layered. The Cleveland Guardians, I believe that they're going to make the playoffs if they call up Chase DeLauter, their prospect, and he plays 130 plus games. Chase DeLauter hit 4-something in college. He hit 355 in the minors. Right now, at the time of this recording, he's hitting 520 with 4 home runs in spring training, but he's also sneaky athletic as well. So if Chase DeLauter can be inserted into the lineup and replace a Miles Straw, who has been an automatic out, same with Austin Hedges. If Bo Naylor plays 130 plus games, and we don't see a lot of Austin Hedges, maybe a day off or two, but my big asterisk, if Chase DeLauter plays 130 plus games, the Guardians will make the playoffs. Now, a lot of people have been jumping on the bandwagon as of late because he's been tearing up spring, but I wrote this weeks ago. Tarik Skubal is going to win the AL Cy Young. That's my bold prediction for the Tigers. Down the stretch of 2023, Skubal was one of the best pitchers in baseball. Now, the only thing about that, there's a slight caveat. He was facing bad team after bad team. Now, I still think that Tarik Skubal has the skills to destroy any good team in baseball, let alone the bad teams. Do not be shocked at all if Tarik Skubal not only wins the AL Cy Young, but now that Garrett Cole is out, Skubal, he might win unanimously. My bold prediction for the Royals, well, it's not going to be something like making the playoffs. I'm going to talk about the guy who mans the hot corner for Kansas City, Maikel Garcia. He might very well become a top 5 third basemen in all of baseball this year, which is crazy because there's a lot of good third basemen. Maikel Garcia plays insane defense. He also hits the ball pretty hard. He's one of the better players in baseball in terms of sweet spot percentage. So when you put all of that together, he's quick on the bases. He's elite defensively. He hits the ball hard. If he can do that on a consistent basis, this guy could put up a 5 or 6 WAR season. We'll talk about some other third basemen in a second, so don't go anywhere. But right now, let's focus on the Minnesota Twins and Byron Buxton. He might win AL MVP. The thing about Byron Buxton is he's like that meme in SpongeBob where all of his bones are made of glass and he breaks things, seems like every second of the day. If he can play 150 games, I mean, there's almost no one in baseball more talented than him. Honestly, his pinky has more talent than all of us watching combined. We know that Byron Buxton has the skills to win an MVP, but does he have the durability to stay healthy? That's the biggest question mark. And because this is a bold prediction video, that's what I think is going to happen. He's going to play 145 games somehow. Chicago Cubs fans are going to hate me for this. My bold prediction is that they don't make the playoffs. And I don't say that with a smile on my face. I couldn't really think of any other bold predictions, so I'm kind of using a cop-out that Bellinger, he might regress. Shota Imanaga might not be the guy that we think he's going to be. And also, losing Marcus Stroman, I mean, yeah, he was terrible in the second half, but he was one of the better pitchers in the first half. And Jameson Taillon, is he good? Honestly, we have to ask that question. Is Jameson Taillon stealing money? Is he about to do that again? Is Christopher Morel going to be a good defensive third baseman? If he doesn't play third, where does he play? They do have a lot of good pieces, but because there's some other good teams in the Central, if the Cubs don't have everything go right, they will miss out. We have another kind of layered prediction, and the Reds, they will either tie or set the MLB record for most 2020 guys on one team. Ellie De La Cruz might go 2020, Matt McClain might go 2020, Will Benson could go 2020, and then TJ Friedl, he could go 20 as well. So obviously the record is 3 2020 guys on one single team. TJ Friedl, he's dealing with a fractured wrist right now. Matt McClain, he's going to be missing some time as well. So if these guys play at least 145 games, we could very well have a new record on our hands for most 20 home run, 20 stolen base guys on one single team. This is one of those predictions that might not be very bold, but considering the names that they've lost, Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, a lot of people are going with other teams in the Central to win the Central, but it could just be the Brewers all over again. Freddie Peralta is still a dog. They have some young pitchers coming up in that rotation. Christian Yelich, Jackson Chourio, Garrett Mitchell. That could be one of the better outfields in all of baseball. Do not sleep on the Brewers. I know that they've been ravaged by injuries, but they still have a pretty sick roster. I love stats like this. My bold prediction for the Pirates, Brian Hayes, he's going to join the 2020 club, and only a few guys over the last decade have done that. Fernando Tatis, Mookie Betts, Trevor Story. That's 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and a 20 DRS, 20 defensive run saves. We saw what he can do with the leather over the last few years. In his rookie year, we saw him erupt on the offensive side of things, and ever since that point, he's kind of regressed. But the exit velos are there. They're exciting. He's been raking in spring as well. Come on, Brian, go 20-20-20. I'm almost willing to put my entire life savings on this next prediction. Victor Scott of the Cardinals is going to win the NL Rookie of the Year. This kid's approach at the dish is not very common in the modern game of baseball. We've seen guys like Bryson Stott have that simple approach where it's just a nice, easy swing through the zone. Victor Scott reminds me a lot of Bryson Stott. Victor is also one of the few prospects over the last few years to have an 80 grade speed. So when you combine that with his elite on-base skills, his elite defense as well, I'm not saying he's the next Michael Harris, because to me, Michael Harris is a more complete player. But if you can have a kind of mini Michael Harris on the Cardinals, yeah, that guy's going to win Rookie of the Year, even with all the other studs in the NL, like a Jackson Chourio. I don't know if you guys have kept up with the trend, but we've gone with the East Division, then the Central. Now we're going to talk about the teams in the West, and starting off, the Houston Astros. What about Bregman reclaiming his throne as the best third baseman in baseball? In the second half of 2023, he had 17 doubles, 13 home runs, a .290 batting average, and a .394 on base percentage with 42 walks to only 37 strikeouts. He had a .901 OPS and a 144 OPS plus. It's going to be a tall task because we have guys like Austin Riley, Jose Ramirez. Arenado's going to want to bounce back. Same with Manny Machado. He was very good down the stretch as well. But Bregman, he's got the talent, and it's a contract year. He's got to pop off. I am doing it. I do not care. My bold prediction for the Angels, they're going to make the playoffs. Listen, they have pieces in place to be a really, really good ball club. They have Mike Trout back and healthy. Same with Taylor Ward after Alek Manoah effectively ended his season last year. Younger guys in the rotation, Patrick Sandoval, Reed Detmers, they have shown flashes at being some of the better lefties in all of the game. I don't really want to talk about Tyler Anderson because for some reason he makes me very irrationally upset just seeing him in my head. Get him out of there. But he was very, very good for the Dodgers. Then he goes to the Angels and sucks. I mean, that's kind of usually what happens when people leave the Dodgers. Maybe Anthony Rendon bounces back. Maybe you get a breakout season from a guy who slimmed up, Miguel Sano. Probably not going to happen, but that's why I wanted to make today's video. Let's have some fun predictions that could happen. I know the majority of them are not going to, but we're having fun. The A's are going to have a top 10 offense in all of Major League Baseball. Esteury Ruiz, he ended 2023 very hot. Same with Shea Langeliers, their catcher. They're going to have guys like Zach Geloff playing 140-plus games. Maybe you have a young prospect like Darell Hernaiz come up and fill in the gap that Nick Allen has not been able to fill at shortstop the last few years, because I just don't know if Nick Allen has it in him. Seth Brown is going to be back and healthy. Lawrence Butler looks very good in spring. Ryan Noda is an on-base god. He's the perfect money ball player. Do not be shocked at all if the Oakland Athletics steal 150 bags, hit 200 home runs. They could be a very well-balanced offense, not gonna lie. I haven't even talked about the fact that they got a free JD Davis from the Giants. They have Brent Rooker, who was an all-star last year. They've got some pieces. What if JJ Bleday, a former top prospect, what if he breaks out for a mega year? Ooh, I like this next one. I got creative with some of these records and bold predictions. The 2024 Mariners are going to break an MLB record for the most starting pitchers to have 200 strikeouts in a single season. The record is currently held by the 2018 Cleveland Indians with Kluber, Carrasco, Clevenger, and Bauer. Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert is going to be a little bit tough because he's not a huge strikeout guy. Same with Bryce Miller, but in the minors, Bryce Miller was a strikeout machine. Then you have Brian Wu, who was also a strikeout machine. George Kirby is one of the best big game pitchers in baseball. He doesn't care who you are. He's going to strike you out. Castillo's nasty. All the other guys to end that rotation. Five starting pitchers with 200 plus strikeouts. The Texas Rangers might do something that has not been done since the 2000 Yankees. The Rangers might go back-to-back. You're telling me that in the second half, the Rangers are going to get a healthy Max Scherzer. Jacob deGrom is going to be in that rotation as well. And Wyatt Langford could be one of the better rookies we've ever seen. The Rangers are about to get better? Are you serious? There's not a huge glaring flaw with the Rangers, maybe aside from health in the first couple months of the season. Maybe that bullpen is not going to be able to repeat the magical run that they had last year. I think they're going to, though. This is going to be a scorching hot, bold prediction for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are going to set the record for the most wins in Arizona franchise history. So back in 1999, they had 100 wins. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they made a lot of great moves over the offseason, getting a Jock Peterson and Eugenio Suarez, re-signing Lourdes Gurriel Jr., bringing in an Erod from the Tigers. I'm probably forgetting another person like, did I say Eugenio Suarez already? If I did, I'm sorry. But they have a really good squad. I'm going to go ahead and say I am biased with this next prediction because I just want it to happen. So maybe I can will it into fruition. I can speak it into existence. Chris Bryant is going to hit 30 plus home runs and he's going to play 150 games. I don't really have much else to say. We're talking about a former MVP, a Rookie of the Year, a World Series champion. There's no reason why our blue-eyed sweet prince cannot rake in 2024. He has no excuses anymore. I know the Dodgers have some drama brewing right now with Ippei and Shohei and everything, but they're still going to set the MLB record for most wins. Again, these are bold predictions. I'm not saying these are going to happen. We're having a lot of fun, but there is in fact a world in which the 2024 Dodgers can pop off for 117 wins. That would pass 116 set by the 2006 Mariners and the 1901 Cubs. Leave a like if you were born at that point. I mean, look at what they've done with James Outman. They lose Cody Bellinger. I know he was a shell of himself over the last few seasons before he went to the Cubs, but he was a Rookie of the Year and MVP as well. They let him go, and then they get James Outman. They do so many things right. We're almost done, I promise you guys. Thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you have, Fernando Tatis Jr., he's about to win back-to-back platinum gloves, and the reason why that's so bold is because a guy that we talked about earlier in the video, Brian Hayes, I said that he was going to go 20-20-20, so Tatis, he's going to have to be special all over again. I think he led baseball last year in defensive run saves. He was also very good in the outs above average department. His reaction, his speed, his arm, everything is checked off as an outfielder, and he might go back-to-back. You guys ready for the boldest prediction of any team that you've heard so far? You ready for it? Jung-Hoo Lee, the grandson of the Wind, is going to win 2024 NL MVP. We are talking about a guy that won 4 or 5 consecutive Gold Gloves in a row, so we know defensively he's going to go out and get it. On the bases, he's not too shabby either, but this guy in the batter's box has a chance of being a .310 batting average guy with 15 to 20 home runs, 35 to 40 doubles, because in San Francisco, I know the ball doesn't fly as much because you have those coastal winds. The high wall in right field, obviously he's a left-handed hitter, but because they have that triples alley, he just wins MVP the first time that we ever see him. So that does it for today's video. I love making content like this because it allows me to get creative and look up fun stats. So if you want to see more videos like this, leave a like, and if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments, what's your bold prediction for the 2024 season?